All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next panel now. The topic of discussion is going to be around the future of marketing in a technology-driven world. Allow me to share a little synopsis about what this discussion is going to be all about. Connected and smart TVs are the most bought TV viewing device today. We all agree to that, making it the most exciting new aspect of digital advertising. However, we are at the beginning of this rapidly evolving media opportunity, and our understanding of it is limited as marketers shuffle between innovation and uncertainty. So how are marketers viewing CTV and the plethora of media options that the score of major OTT players are offering? Also, what value do they bring to the table? And one more question that arises, is non-linear TV an effective medium for the advertisers? So many things will be discussed, and join me in welcoming our absolutely industry experts. Panel members will be joining in. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we welcome our first panel member, Deepak, Oram, SVP, Growth Marketing and Martech, HDFC. A very warm welcome to you, Deepak. We request you to please take a seat on the stage. Joining him in this panel discussion, we have Akash, Valia, Senior Vice President, Growth, Pharmeasy. Very warm welcome to you. Joining him, we have Mahadev, Srivatsa, Brand Head, Aditya, Birla Capital. Very warm welcome to you. We have Varun, Mohan, Head of Growth and Revenue, MIQ, joining us for this panel discussion. Very warm welcome to you, Varun. And inviting the session chair, Amaresh, Godbole, CEO, Digital Technology Business, Publicis Groupe, India. So very warm welcome to all the panel members, and reminding everybody that this topic of discussion is going to be revolving around the future of marketing in a technology-driven world. On this note, over to you, Amaresh. Thank you.
Hi. Afternoon, everyone. Everyone's made it through a very, very rainy day over here, but it's a full house, so glad to see that. Very interesting discussion that we've got lined up today. Some very senior representatives from different sectors over here. And we're going to talk the future of marketing in the context of technology, right? And I think my job particularly has always been about making sure that our organization stays ahead of the curve in terms of emerging technologies and so on. So I always live by this famous quote from Naval Ravikant, who's an investor and almost a modern day philosopher, where he said that if you think your business doesn't require software, eventually a software company will be in your business, right? And we're starting to see that happen more and more in an accelerated fashion, and pretty much every sector is undergoing technology transformation. When we talk about emerging technology, I mean, you can't skip a beat without saying generative AI. It's changing all our lives. In our industry, it's changing both how we work, our workflows in terms of writing, creation, etc., but also the kind of experiences and consumer experiences that we create. Extended reality, which is a combination of mixed reality and so on, is another big emerging trend. So we've got with us a fantastic panel of experts from multiple sectors. So I'm going to start by throwing a few questions at them. And since we've got two representatives from financial services, I thought I'll start with you both. If you could just talk through what are the emerging technologies that are significantly impacting the financial services sector, and how are your respective organizations, which is HDFC and Aditya Birla, tackling those? Deepak, you want to start?
So I'll come to generative AI. Let's not jump to the buzzword.
No, free flow.
But let me start with emerging technology is there to address emerging trends in consumer behavior for brands, right? So that's how you invest in technology. If there's a change in consumer behavior which leaves a gap in customer expectation and your service quality or your marketing quality, you invest in the technology. So what is that emerging trend, in my view, over the last decade or so, is that consumers today research online before they walk into a retail store. It's very simple, right? So if I look at my more than a decade of studying banking and financial services data, there was an overlap of about 30%. If someone puts a lead in your CRM in financial services, and you had the technology back then a decade ago, and some of us did, thankfully. If you could do overlap of who came to a website and who then put a lead in your CRM, because you can put a lead in the CRM through a call center as well, right? Or you can walk into a branch also, right? So that overlap was about 20-30%. Today, that overlap of someone who's come to your digital property over who's put an interest in your CRM for a product purchase is about 70%. So people straight away go to a website and research. Even if you're buying a car today and the dealership is very near your house, I'm sure you go to a car dekho or a car wale or to the brand's website and check out the car. So this is the emerging consumer behavior trend, right? So we have to solve for this. Technologies can come and go, but the consumer imperative has changed. So how do people solve for that is what I want to do right now, which is, can the digital footprint and the behavior of the customer be available to a very traditional channel, like a call center, saying, sir, thank you for calling, but I understand you're trying to go through a troubleshooting section of your credit card statement on the website. Can I help you? Right? So this digital footprint has to go into your services and marketing. So this is the current customer imperative, but it has been an imperative for forever. But the technology and the consumer behavior landscape has changed that you can actually see this behavior and address it when the customer comes to your retail or a physical presence or talks to a human being. So that's the first thing I would want to address because post-pandemic this trend has actually even become way more sort of shockingly high that people go to a website, go to an app and try something there and then they call your call center. Right? This is the first trend that I think we should all think about solving, and the tools are all out there. There's enough tech out there to solve for this.
No, that's a brilliant point. I'll come to you, Anand. But this just reminded me of a very interesting personal example. When I bought my car, I'd actually booked another one. And I saw on Instagram an ad for a great deal on this other car which I wanted. So I went to their showroom. I, on the spot, got a great discount, cancelled the other booking, and booked the car. And I told them, look, I'm a digital guy. You're going to tag me as a walk-in. Please tag me as a social media lead because you need to give credit over there. And there's no way they're going to know I came here because of Instagram.
And to serve the customer, if you walk into a store, I can't treat you like we don't know you at all. Especially if you are in the funnel. And we're not marketeers if we don't know that you're in the funnel somewhere. So we have to address that.
Yeah, that attribution challenge is intense. We'll get back to that with Varun later. But Anant, you want to chime in on financial services and how Aditya Birla Capital specifically is looking at technology, how it's changing your business, the way you interact with consumers, personalization, all of those pieces.
Yeah, I mean, taking a point from what he said, it's more real time these days, and AI and the disruptive nature of the technology, how it has changed is very simple, in the sense that it's evolving every year because of the inputs that we are giving, because of the challenges that we are giving, that I want this to, I want to understand where my consumer is, I want to tackle and make his journey simpler, and I want to ensure my message reaches to him effectively. So earlier, like pre-pandemic, the effectiveness of AI was more seen in the delivery, because you could customize it, you could translate it easily, you could save on your production budgets and yet serve different cuts to different consumers throughout their journey and make the messaging personalized. But today, in the last 3-4 years or more, we are actually seeing more and more tools come up in the creation zone as well. So whether it's copy, whether it is visual, the way you want to create a piece of communication, there is a lot of AI tools and technologies which have come right from the start. So now it's the creation and the delivery, and AI is actually empowering and changing game at both ends and enabling us get the consumer at the right time. And what is the right time is also being fed by AI. So that's the way like when you say the future, in a way the future is almost here, because with every passing year you're only seeing the technology get more and more learned, more and more empowered, and somewhere as marketeers and humans, we are fearing it because we want to target and understand and then target our consumers better.
Got it. Do you have any one or two specific examples of specific initiatives or interventions that you've done, say from before, which were not as led by technology and today they are, and how have they impacted your business?
while I can't really, I would like to take it from a generic perspective because I don't want to give specific examples on a business front. But one of the challenges, right, which you have, because in performance marketing or otherwise, there is a need to constantly come up with innovative messages and target consumers on the fly. By using AI, that is now today much more possible than what it was not a few times ago. You are able to understand the data, through the data analysis tools, understand the consumer behavior, and make decisions that could influence him. So that is something that AI has enabled, which was not happening or not, because you could see drop-offs, you could see the churn. If you're an app, you could see, a customer not going to the next stage. But through those nudges, through those notifications, through those important elements in the consumer journey, which AI now gives you the power to influence more, that's how you can move the piece of the funnel.
Got it. So Akash, coming to you, the thing I spoke about upfront, which is a software company will be in your business. I think Pharmeasy is a prime example of that, right? You're a technology company which obviously serves the medical sector.
Right.
So, and of course, that's a highly regulated category as well. So I just wanted to understand, how do you, as a technology-first company, view the whole process of marketing? How do you go to market? What are the limitations that you have? Just your views on this.
No, I think it's a great question that, you're using marketing and regulation in the same breath, right? And I think that's something that we all live every day with in terms of Pharmeasy. So I think while the whole world is, let's say, moving towards AI, there are limitations in terms of what you can do with AI in terms of healthcare and medicine, right? So the regulation says, for example, that a pharmacist has to physically, a human pharmacist has to check your prescription, right? So I cannot make an AI layer that is checking all the prescriptions, though there are enough technologies available out there. And second is that if the prescription is invalid, then I have to have a doctor give you a teleconsultation on the spot or wherever it's possible, and then have a new prescription put in place, right? So again, there are a lot of health AIs out there, but I cannot generate a prescription for you. So I think how we use technology is largely making consumer experience very, very efficient, right? So what we cannot do with AI, we are doing everything with AI on the consumer experience part, right? So our workflows are extremely streamlined. As soon as you upload the prescription, it's straight away going to a pharmacist, then straight away going to a doctor. And all of this is getting done within 30 minutes. And then the medicine is getting delivered in 2 hours, right? So I think that's where we are focusing more on enhancing technology, more on the supply chain and operation side. And of course, on the marketing side, there are a bunch of things that you can do, which is we can have a health AI-based chatbot available on our app. And that's something that we are working on. It's a project that will get live soon, where you can ask the AI chatbot queries about what sort of issues you are facing, and it will also reply to you with, let's say, the relevant diagnosis or proposed treatment, right? So I think that's how at least we are using the newest tech.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced this firsthand. I've gone through the Pharmeasy journey multiple times, and it's pretty phenomenal how, if you don't even have a prescription, you actually can get a consultation with a doctor, and it's all sorted right away. So that's pretty amazing for me as a consumer. So hats off on that. Varun, coming to you, I think we spoke a lot about the challenges that they see as marketers or growth drivers for business. But your business is more data driven and horizontal, working with multiple sectors. So what is your view on technology and how it's impacting marketing for different clients that you work with? But also, what are the challenges in attribution that we spoke about earlier, right? Where how do we actually attribute that this particular business came to us from a digital channel and so on?
Got it, okay. Yeah, so firstly start with in terms of the way we process, in terms of data and the solutioning perspective. AI and ML been there more than a decade, the way we're using it at different aspects, in fact, of how we making certain kind of customization, right? It is getting more and more complex because the way internet penetration is increasing, across globally we are present in more than 36 countries. And each and every market is different. In India as a region, you have different behavior, different culture, different consumption pattern, etc. So understanding the user behavior across platforms, processing more than multi-terabytes of data on a daily basis, right? So AI play a very big role in ML in terms of putting the whole behavioral trend together. Now, that also the way we focus in adding value in the market is, market always be, you coming from an agency side and others being on the brand side perspective, how the focus has always been, even a media execution, what is that what you're planning for a particular campaign objective. As brand custodian, you always focus in terms of how you need to, you focus on how to understand your audience. So for that, we are the way MIQ focus is to build we call day zero insights in terms of going back to the brand, who are your potential audience, what kind of digital behavior do they have, what are the touch points, having that understanding. So all of that insights, is coming from the backend data platforms where it is powered by the tech and whole, which is in Bangalore right now. So that is one. And again, data is not just only about predicting. It's also about how, during the campaign flight, how to optimize the campaign for better results. So data play a key role in terms of during the campaign flight and post-campaign as well. The post-execution, it's not just the impression, click, CTR, VTR, so on and so forth. It's about what cohort of audience worked, what is that, what you planned from in terms of multi-touch point, what didn't work, and that learning should come in place. And that's very critical for you to, as a brand custodian, to plan that in your future activation. So that is where the whole data AI ML works. And attribution perspective, the second question, absolutely, because that's something which is the biggest challenge in the market. I think we all, as Deepak also started with, we are in an era where we talk everything about digital, everything immeasurable, trackable, etc. The biggest, the gray area in this space is attribution. There is multi-touch point where the platforms are not speaking to each other. So how our focus is to build a platform or build a native above these wall-guarded environment and create a holistic manner or unified approach to the whole execution. And that is what, it's a constant endeavor at our end in terms of building that. So if I want to put in one of the use case scenario is, I was just talking a few minutes back about very custom, moment of truth is very important, right? And identifying that is, you need to understand the challenge brand face and create a custom engagement based on that. Luminous, one of the, inverter brand, right? They came to us with us saying that, we want to identify understand or engage with the audience when they face challenge. Now, for that, we created the entire scroller, algorithm in place, custom algorithm in place to identify area across pan-India in terms of where there is a power disruption. Now, there is two type of power disruption. There is scheduled and unscheduled. So identifying both, and during that time, engaging with the user, saying that, okay, you just faced a power disruption, avoid that by Luminous. So that kind of customer engagement, for all of that activation, the data, measurement, and attribution play a key role for us.
Got it. Deepak, I'll come back to you. Just do a little bit of future gazing, right? So far, I think all of us have spoken about the transformation that has happened so far and where we are. But now with the kind of technologies that you see in front of you, whether it's generative AI, extended reality, all of those, if you have to look 5 years down the line, where do you think we'll get to, as a financial services industry or as HDFC? What are the unimaginables today that will become imaginable tomorrow?
Yeah, so I think good. The time horizon you picked is actually a right one, five years. But just to highlight how 5 years actually is a huge amount of time for consumer behavior change, right? Like my friend said, right? Like if you look at e-commerce and medicine, for example, we never believed telemedicine will become a thing. Well, you will actually get on a video call, right, and then talk to a doctor and get a prescription, and then go to an e-commerce company and get medicine. But it all changed in 3 years because of pandemic, right? So don't be surprised if some of the things we say here actually happen within a horizon of 5 years. So in banking, what I'm thinking now, if you look at technology, and I've been looking at a lot of technology, is that we were part of this machine learning, predictive technologies in the last 5-10 years, right? Then came generative, right? Obviously, I think some of us spoke about the media aspect of it, how you can create content and so on and so forth. But I think the next phase now becomes kind of agentic, what people are calling agentic. So there'll be an agent for you from every brand. that agent is hyper-personalized to you, right? So for example, you have a relationship manager today with a bank, any bank will give you a relationship manager. But that relationship manager has limited set of tools because it's a human being, cannot query a huge data set to tell you what type of life insurance you should take, right? Or are you on track on your retirement plan and retirement savings compared to, let's say, some people like you, for example, right? Someone at your age group, in your sort of salary bracket, in your habits, psychographics, maybe you like to go out, have a good time, as opposed to someone who's a little more laid back and thinks more before doing things, and little less spontaneous, right? So this kind of financial advice, I think, very, very soon will become agentic. So there will be agent, which is the next version of a chatbot. Chatbot is generic. It does not have context of you. It has context of information that is from a financial product perspective, but the chatbot today does not have information about you specifically, saying that, look, I think basis your credit card behavior, I would suggest you move on to this credit card, you will get better rewards, for example. Or the amount of money that you save every month is on the lower side. Why don't you book a couple of fixed deposits or curtail it back? And this kind of advice with big data at the back of it, where you can scrape crores of customers and literally billions and billions of transactions of those customers and say, look, this is the right space that you should be in as in your life stage, right? So I see agentic becoming a big thing because it's so obvious, right? It's so simple to do. You have banking data is large, but it's not complex. Honestly, it is complex because it is stored in legacy systems, old data sets, so on and so forth. But data is not actually complex, right? If you put an algorithm and the new tools are so simple to use, you can have an agent that is completely AI driven, that can scrape your data, the entire universe of the bank's data, and give you perfect fine-tuned financial advice to the T. So that is where I feel excited that I think even consumers will love this kind of technology, right? I know, you'll say, no, why would I talk to an agent? I will talk to my relationship manager. But you'll be surprised how fast consumer behavior changes. E-commerce, for example, people were afraid to swipe their cards, right? Before Flipkart came, people didn't want to use their cards online. There's a fraud will happen. It all changed now. We're in the middle of the big billion day sale now, right? We are in the middle of Amazon sale. Look how the world has changed. It's been like, 6 years? We swipe our cards everywhere now. We don't think twice. So I think people will start trusting an agent from a bank or a financial service provider very soon, which will not be human. But then it requires a lot of creativity and, of course, technology to come up with something great like that.
That's a great one. I think the power of building custom agents is something that is going to start getting unlocked right now. To give you an example from our industry, a lot of people are toying with, creating. So, for example, if you work with a particular brand, you have tons of data about the kind of work that has been appreciated, the kind of work that hasn't worked before, right? So, and the kind of feedback that you get on different kinds of work from a given client. And we are all toying with the idea of, can we create a copy editor internally, for example, based on being trained on all this data, so that whatever ideas you come up with, whatever you write with, that agent is specifically trained to give you feedback so that you're correcting it even before you send it to the client. So those kind of internal workflows are, pretty interesting areas. So an agent that can see the brand side data and the user's data, I think is a very, very powerful proposition. With you on that. Akash, coming back to you, I know previously when you answered with all the limitations and regulations that we have. But imagine over the next 5 years if the regulations catch up with the reality of technology, when, we're already seeing that, AI is better than doctors at reading mammograms, for example. And there's a lot of these, anytime someone has to see a pattern and come up with a solution, AI is probably more accurate than humans. Right. So if regulation allowed you to do it, and there's also this convergence of almost real-life avatars which are powered by knowledge models, so which could lead to things like virtual doctors and all of that. So all limitations apart, what do you see the next 5 years at?
No, I think these are the questions I like and not the regulatory ones. But no, jokes apart, I think the example that you gave was bang on, right? I think, so I'm going to take maybe 3 aspects of where AI is sort of trending towards from a marketing and growth perspective in healthcare. So I think the first one is pretty much what you mentioned. Today, AI is available to any doctor or any assistant at, let's say, a clinic who's detecting cancer, who's detecting TB. I think the TB detecting AI has become recently very, very famous. And now there are AIs that are looking at X-rays, already pointing out what all issues are there, and then a radiologist just needs to sign it off, right? So it brings efficiency into the whole system by almost 80%. I think the second example I'll take is of a similar health specific GPT. So while all of us know Chat GPT and we do tend to ask, let's say, healthcare questions on it, the Chat GPT model is not trained to answer health issue related questions, right? So it may hallucinate and give you non-factual data about it. There are companies out there, and there's a company called August AI. They are probably one of the first few ones that started this, that trained the model for almost 3+ years on healthcare data of entire, let's say, the Indian population, of course, in an anonymized way. And today they have got a chatbot where simply, even if you upload a diagnostic report, it will tell you in a nice little summary what is working right for you, what is not working, and what you should be doing, including a solution, right? It will tell you, okay, you have, if you have cholesterol, it will tell you stop having fried foods, and it will give you a full recommendation. And I think the third aspect, and we all miss this out, right, whenever we talk about healthcare, is the wellness part, where over there we have chatbots, or I will not say chatbots, actually, we have AI engines which are giving you a personalized nutrition counseling and a personalized treatment which is non-medicine related, right? So for example, in nutrition counseling, there is again a platform called Optimus where you upload a diagnostic report. They have a hyper-personalized solution where the AI chatbot is giving you a full 1-week diet plan, right? And you can choose if you like pasta more or if you like savory more. I mean, it will pretty much reconfigure the whole nutrition according to you. And let's say if you don't want to take medicine, there are AI chatbots that are promoting essential oil-based therapies. For example, aromatherapy to begin with, right? So aromatherapy now is a subset of Ayurveda that is catching up. So from that perspective as well, the chatbots are able to recommend products in this healthcare space. So I think over these three parts, we will see a lot more AI coming into the whole 5 years. I don't mean to use AI in terms of buzzwords, but the fact is that how probably 10 years ago, how Excel changed the world in terms of crunching numbers, AI is going to change the world in terms of how we communicate. So,
absolutely. And tell me, with the sectors that we have represented here, I don't know how relevant it is, but what are your views on the other big trend, which is, a combination of spatial computing and, extended reality, which is mixed reality, augmented reality. Do you see applications in your particular business or even otherwise that you think might be interesting?
So I think I'll give you one great example, and again, this is close to me. My wife used to do architecture for the longest time, and this is already a 3-year-old plus journey where they were showing clients in virtual reality the interior designs of the new house that they were building. Right, that was a very unique solution at that point of time. In today's time, you can open IKEA and you can already, using augmented reality, check how the sofa or the table is going to look into your room, right? So I think it is going mainstream, and I think more and more VR and AR are going to just be one more tool that's already there, right? And people will start expecting it by default. I think in healthcare, it has already seen some applications where using AR itself, the doctor is able to make you understand that, okay, what is the issue you're facing in, let's say, from a cardiac perspective, right? So they will probably use the camera on another patient and they'll show that, okay, from the heart, the blood is flowing, your heart is not, this artery is blocked. And of course, very limited, but there is some application coming out. But I feel in e-commerce, this will become a standard solution in terms of people being able to visualize the product, what they are buying better.
And just to add, when it came to mixed reality, today we are already seeing a lot of examples in terms of communication. Print as a medium has started using mixed reality, and brands have started experimenting where you're actually seeing a print ad come to life. You scan a QR code, you have a message that's played. We did it when we were doing our Olympics campaign, and we transported them to Paris because it was happening in Paris, and then we played out the communication. Recently, Flipkart is doing it around the big billion sales. They're actually taking, you scan the QR code and the best prizes in the sale is coming. So you have seen that mixed reality is actually making communication much more engaging, and it's seen as a revival of print in a day and age when people still say, is print there, not there. Every medium, I believe, with the use of technology and the sharper way to engage a consumer with it, will only get stronger. You can't just write off anything, but tech has enabled that. So you may not carry all the message in an ad. We also saw it with Ranveer Singh, right? He did an ad. There, if you notice the ad, there was no logo of the company on it. It just said scan to, see me, talk to you. And you scanned, and then, the brand revealed its entire messaging. So it's interesting how mixed reality is actually changing communication and, more so in print.
No, 100%. I think especially the QR code has changed the game for all static mediums, right? Now it's a call to action and it generates all kinds of experiences. I think the first true scaled example of extended reality kicking, I think, was when people started going crazy about Pokemon Go. And I think that's fueled a lot of behavior. So this combination of QR codes and then being able to take people into immersive worlds is a pretty powerful concept. And Varun, I mean, any examples of work that you guys have done in this realm, or what are your thoughts on both Gen AI and extended reality, and how does it shape the next 5 years?
So for us, the key challenge, the key potential what we see across is in terms of how multi-platform. So now everything is anything in terms of an ATL perspective is on digital, and especially in programmatic, be it audio, be it video. Connected TV, DOH, and etc. So how we can seamlessly sync these platforms together, and how we can have, again, we spoke about attribution, now multi-touch attribution perspective, or multi-device attribution for that matter. So how can we engage user as an upper funnel in terms of a connected TV versus bringing that audience into a call to action on their mobile phones and etc. And so that is something which we are there, and we are focusing. And the new trend what we see is, of course, India perspective, connected TV is going to be really big, and that's something which for us been there for last 6-7 years now in the West market, and that's something we're adapting to this region. And we see month on month, there's a huge growth in terms of user consumption as well as penetration perspective, and that's changing the behavior, drastic in terms of the way user is consuming OTTs or different other video platforms on their connected devices, right? Also, a large trend what we see is how retail media is picking up in a big manner, right? And one usual thing what we see, like for example, if you look at around almost a decade back, it was everything and anything was Google. If you want to buy a shoe, if you want to buy a phone, you go and search in Google. Today you don't. You go into an e-commerce platform and search. You look at this. So the trend of search on Google being a mass or generic platform is drastically reducing, and that retail or anything which is like an endemic brand for that matter, I think that's completely moving into the e-commerce platform. And that, again, most of these, now it was e-commerce earlier, now there is Q-commerce. So again, multi-platforms and et cetera, especially in the walled garden nature where they're not speaking to each other. That's something which we are focusing on solving.
Got it. So, Anand, coming back to you, and I'll ask each of you the same question. Now, we've kind of visualized what the next 5 years, if we were limitless, would look like. So, if you want to get there, what needs to change in your world? So, it could be in your organization, it could be in your industry, it could be in terms of regulations. What needs to change so that we can truly unlock the power of technology for marketing in the next 5 years or the future? Whoa, if you have thoughts on that.
I think I'll take this one for sure because regulation is most closest to me. So today, for example, very, very simple example I'll give you, right? And probably we need to start the change with that. Today, Meta and the government together do not allow marketing of medicine, the word medicine, whether it's not an actual medicine, even if I use it in a campaign, it's not allowed, right? And it gets flagged off. I'm not able to do any sort of WhatsApp marketing. So while I'm an e-commerce company, I'm a platform, I'm a marketplace for pharmacies to sell, I'm still not able to get consumers on board the platform using the power of, let's say, WhatsApp, that, okay, here is a 5-day festive season of the larger e-commerce companies are doing it. We are let's say we also do it payday sales. We are not able to communicate that, right? So I think there needs to be, I will not say a gray area, but pretty much a black and white area for what is allowed, what's not allowed. Okay, the pills, medicine name is not allowed, but let's say marketing, the platform of who's selling medicine should be allowed. So I think there are these small hacks that need to change from a regulatory and marketing combined standpoint, right? So that's one example from my industry.
Thank you. Deepak, any thoughts on that? What you would like to see changing to enable you to unleash technology?
So I think I think banking, you can't, I mean, beyond a point, you can't argue with regulation because it keeps your money safe, right? If you see what happened to crypto, right? People's wallets get locked, so and so forth. One guy got hacked. Right?
Yeah, and I think we
so,
have one of the best, most safest regulations in the world, right? And that makes sense.
Yeah. So just to be on just to see the flip side also and appreciate it, regulators are there to ensure the public's money is safe and banks don't go overboard trying to do some marketing jugglery, right? So that's also fair. It's a fair thing to do. But I think I think we are, again, in appreciation of the regulator, we are fortunate to be in a country where we have something like a Digital India, for example, right? We are very fortunate to have large fintech innovation in this country, for example, right? We are very fortunate to be in a very forward-looking territory of the world. I think if you look at Europe, if you look at US, if you look at like GDPR, if you look at CCPA, privacy regulations, right? They are, I mean, in a way, they're actually quite debilitating, right? If you look at the way the cookie sort of crumbling has happened and how it's transpired, if you look at data, customers actually accept 80% of the time, 80% plus of the times, they accept the cookies in Europe. So what was the fear about? Customers don't care. So maybe the regulator was a little heavy-handed. In India, we'd have the bill still, in process and so, the privacy bill. But we have seen that India has an open banking ecosystem. The KYC is very, very simple to do in this country. Income assessment is simple to do. You don't struggle for credit, for example. If you look at like very Western countries also, they are at the mercy of the civil TransUnions of the world or the bureau, because your credit rating matters a lot in terms of how much home loan can you get for your family, or what kind of credit card can you get to finance your lifestyle, right? There's a huge, I mean, we are very, very ahead of the world when it comes to regulation in the financial services industry, right? Having said that, I think we need a lot of consent-based systems as opposed to heavy-handedness from the regulator, saying if the customer consents that I want my profile to be read by the bank, and I would want other brands who want to give me offers be able to use my profile to give me offers. For example, if you're affluent customer of a bank, right? So what happens is every brand in the country wants to target you. That's a segment everyone wants to target, right? Because obviously you want early adopters, you want good word of mouth, you want that segment to adopt you slowly, right? Now this obviously you can't expose it to anyone, right? Hopefully in the open banking ecosystem there will come a time when someone could say, okay, my financial information is available for brands to give me discounts. It could be consumer durable, it could be white goods, it could be a developer, for example, it could be anything. But I think your financial information today is strictly regulated to be used for giving you other financial products. Maybe there'll come a time when it is utilizable as a tool to create loyalty or a brand's appreciation of your affluence and give you certain benefits on their brand. Now, how it impacts marketing is obviously is a big question. What this does is that marketeers, which currently target you directly through your big Googles and the Facebooks of the world, right? Which is nothing wrong with that, but all marketers do say that, look, these walled gardens inhibit us all the time, and there's a wave of new ad tech and marketing tech that is out there that kind of bypasses this. What it will help, it will create an ecosystem where you can target not just a profile on a big platform which has a lot of eyeballs. You could go to smaller platforms which will have little pools of customers who you could target We have better segmentation from financial profile, which is transparently available to you for you to target, as opposed to having a sort of some cohort that is created basis probabilistic data, not deterministic data, yeah? So and so forth. So I think marketing will evolve. Financial data has to be made available for people to target in a very safe way. I think that happens in the future.
Just to add that 80% of what you mentioned in terms of cookie, I think it's lack of knowledge, because most of them who accept cookies are like not aware that what they're accepting or signing up to. So that is...
Yeah, but customers don't care. Okay, and
So there's a
that
thin line
data
difference
set is actually correct. So customers don't care.
So there's a thin line difference between customization and privacy as well, bro. Because majority of them like signing up for one thing, but you are indirectly, like in terms of how you mentioned about how brand uses their preferences. Now, technically, that is not something I signed up for. So that is where it's a responsibility of the brand also to hold that consumer.
Of course. So for example,
choice.
Yeah. So today, do we have the technology to put on the bank's website, "Hi Deepak"? Of course, you logged in on the map, we have your cookie, we have your device ID, we can show, "Hey Deepak," but no one does it. No bank does it, because the banks know, don't be creepy. Right? The idea is that we self-regulate. We ensure we don't, none of the banks do it. And we are all peers in banking, right? We all know. Do we know that it's Deepak who's coming on the website, and can I write Deepak and what credit card I want to offer you on the website homepage? Yes, we can. We 100% can do it. But no, we don't do it because as bankers, as marketeers, responsible marketers, we don't want to be creepy at all. Only when you're logged in do we show all this information to you.
Absolutely. Data and brand safety first. I mean, consumer data and brand safety both are absolutely critical when you start thinking technology. And one interesting point that comes out of everything that you said so far is when we start thinking about technology embedded in businesses, even if you start from a marketing lens, it never remains at a marketing lens, right? It's basically you start solving business problems. And Anant, I mean, you have any views in terms of, you started with a marketing objective, but really you end up solving a business problem or a larger consumer problem. Is that something that you experience these days?
Just taking it back, see, any communication that you create is technically a business problem that you're solving for. But what you're solving the comms aspect of it. Whether it's product, whether it is business or sales, they are best placed to do the stuff. But the comms aspect is what you're solving for. And I'll just like to while we have had enough of regulatory and compliance, I'll just, being from brand, I'll like to put a consumer lens on this piece as to how this technology is helping us in the creation of this communication, and what do I see it happening. See, a lot of times like you sign up for something, and then the next day a notification comes saying, hey, we have an exclusive offer, would you like to subscribe? And you are wondering, yaar, I just did it yesterday, is something wrong in the AI? Sometimes you get a message and you wonder whether it's the same brand, because suddenly you see a new template, you see some changes, and you feel, okay. So one of the things that happens, because the focus is so much on selling, that somewhere, businesses are losing out on a little bit of investing in brands. Anything that you do ultimately stems from the brand ethos, and that is why a lot of times this consistency in communication goes for a toss, because now you have so many tools doing so many things that you need maybe in the next 5 years. Like for example, any bit that communication that you do, I would like to divide it into 3 parts. I say create, execute, and then review or audit. So creation, that stems from your brand ethos. You have your color palettes, you have your primary, secondary, fonts, communication, persona, style of voice, tone of voice. That eventually gets you the core messaging, which along with the business problem that you want to solve, goes out at the key message. Now in whatever may be your choice of mediums that you want to do, it's important to have that consistency. And then eventually when you review, you need a mechanism to say, hey, am I doing it in the right manner, or is there something learnings that I want to fix? So maybe in the next 5 years, right from the creation to the to the review stage, you may have AI. Right now also AI tools are there, but one big ecosystem that stitches it perfectly for a consumer as a change or something that evolves as we speak, right? Like he said, 2 years, 5 years is too long. You never know, because pre-pandemic, from delivery to now in creation, there has been a significant change. So that is one thing which I say can happen and can actually make this entire consistency in communication, even when it goes to the last mile, sticky for the consumers. Second is something that all of us see and we use in our comms is human images, right? A lot of us use human images in communication, but with now AI coming in, and we keep seeing these videos on YouTube and elsewhere, they're actually very close to human-looking images which are being used in comms. Till now, to the discerning eye, you are able to make out that this has been creating with AI. But there could be a time in 2 days, 2 years down the line that the system is so robust that you could actually have real-looking, almost real-looking models or real-looking human faces with expressions, being able to create through AI. So if that happens, then when does that leave the entire photography and the still shoots and all of that we do to be used in our communication? So that is an area in AI which I feel will evolve, and maybe in the next 2 years, will support comms deliver better.
Got it. Any closing views from a horizontal perspective in terms of what we need to change as an industry or anything else?
No, the change is the only constant thing in our industry. So that the way we say, as I mentioned, in terms of it's quite volatile and quite fragmented in a way. So the whole change, what we see at least next 3 years is consolidation. So there will be a lot of consolidation, attribution getting sorted. I think these are the key factors what will impact. And to a large manner, as I mentioned, in India, I would say we would be 100 million plus household in country TV next 3 years. So that I think that's going to change a lot in this space.
Amazing. So just the final question I have for each of you is a one-word response. What are you most excited about for the future of your particular business or marketing? Any one word that suits. It could be a technology, it could be a possibility. Deepak, you want to start?
Financial advice through technology. It's not a one word, but
No, that's fine.
I look forward to
One phrase, that's fine.
I'll certainly back the health AI chatbots.
Health
that
AI
will change
chatbots.
the way consumers save themselves.
Leveraging technology without losing trust, because when it comes to financial institutions and banking, trust is what, and you still, in the days of the scams and frauds and so many things, that is one aspect, that you would want to continue doing. And apart from financial industry also, this is just out of one of the chats that I was having with a Gen Z in my team, and she was just ordering something on a food app, and she said, "There are so many options. Why can't just the app order for me?" So sometimes it's scary to the level that we are actually fueling and getting used to the technology in a way that we are okay in a manner to let it control us. So that's also, apart from businesses and in a general life, it's scary to see that, hey, can I just open my wardrobe and something, there's an app which tells me, okay, this is what is good for you to wear. There is something that raat ka dinner, yeah, it's there, order is placed. Somewhere I think it's a bit scary that we are giving in, looking at these things as trivial, but in a way, point to ponder, while tech is great, are you letting it control your life?
Interesting.
Use it responsibly.
It's a very thin line.
Varun?
I would say stick on to advanced TV measurement and engagement in a way. And I would want to reciprocate this question to you as well. What do you think?
I think I'm excited about the convergence of Gen AI and XR. I think it has a lot of possibilities, and it's going to change the way we interact with the world. Great. So just to bring this to a close, if I had to summarize everything that we spoke about today, everyone here is excited about the possibilities that technology brings to us. So common themes I would say is, one is personalization at scale, whether it's in the sense of media, whether it's in the sense of an agent actually understanding you and bringing the best of the company to you. The second one is intelligent interaction. So whether it's customer service through avatars, whether it's, AI health chatbots who can actually diagnose you and, those kind of pieces. And the third would be the ability to transcend time and space. So where extended reality plays a big role. So the example that we heard where you scan a newspaper and get transported to Paris and, those kind of pieces. So those are three big themes. But for any of these to work, you need the right kind of underlying data, the right kind of permissions. So consumer data safety and brand safety. So therefore, the future lies in the right regulation as well as consent-based systems where we can get the right data to help consumers in the best way possible. And I think that more or less summarizes our discussion. Thank you so much for all your thoughts here. And thank you for having us here. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I hope you all had a great time while the discussion was going on. May I request you all to please step ahead for a group photo op, and we are absolutely glad and honored that you all are present over here, shared your insights along with us. Thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen, once again.